Next, I'm going to talk about Sallie Smith. Sallie turned 88 yesterday, and she was planning on coming. Her husband died a few months ago, and Sylvia Waits nominated her anonymously. And so when she got my letter that I had, she had been accepted, she was so excited. Her daughter's here today to show us a couple of quilts. But in the Ag Museum, her quilt will be the one with the fish. She made it because her husband liked those colors. But let me read you some of the things that Sylvia wrote about her. Her name was Sallie Irene Carter Smith. She lived her entire life in Wilkerson County, less than a mile from where she was born. She had 4 children and was married for 70 years. Frederick Leroy Smith, so passed away, this year. She's an avid quilter. She's made, repaired, and reconstructed an undetermined number of quilts. She has also been active in her community, having been a member of the Wilkerson County Homemakers Club for as long as it has been in existence. At one time, she served as state president of the successor to the Homemakers Club, the Mississippi Volunteer Homemakers Club. Lucy Large is going to know that organization real well. She is active in her church, teaching children's and ladies' classes, publishing the church bulletin, and making sure there were flowers in the church sanctuary each week. The nominator has known Sallie since 1962 and lived within hollering distance of her entire time. I mentioned the camaraderie that my great-grandmother and her quilters had. Well, they were within hollering distance, too, if you could holler loud. Anyway, I'm going to ask Carol to come up and talk about her mom and her quilts. We have just 2 today. One of them is that, help me with the design, the 3rd one on the wall. She called it Jacob's Ladder. It has other names. Joseph's Coat, yeah, okay. But it probably also has some other names, because I had stuck that pattern back thinking someday I might.
Thank you so much. My mom sends her regrets. Her 70th wedding anniversary is October 9th, and she has her good days and bad days right now, and today was just a good day. So she sends her regrets. But I can tell you that these quilts, these 3 quilts, this one, the one back there, and the one that's in the museum, she's made handmade in the last 5 years. So she, someone, I think the previous lady was talking about what motivates you to quilt. And my mother is always talking about the challenge of hand quilting and putting together these different quilts. I can tell you that she has a quilt right now that is pieced. The top has been done. She's waiting for me to take her to the fabric store so we can get some sashing material for the next quilt. And she has already picked out the pattern for the subsequent quilt. So she is an avid quilter for sure. And I can tell you, growing up, I can remember having the quilt frame hung from the ceiling, and all of the family gathering around, her brothers and sisters gathering around and quilting. And it was always a pleasure for us, the scrappy quilts, because the scrappy quilts we could look at and we could pick out, oh, that was my skirt, or that was my blouse, or whatever it may have been. So she would take all of the fabric that she had back in the day when I was a little child and make her quilts. And now she's very happy to be able to pick whatever she wants to make. So this is one of her quilts that she has recently made. I can't really tell you much about it other than the fact that she liked it And this part here in the center was supposed to be an applique, and she figured out how to make this piece by hand and have it all joined here, as you can see, and gathered here. So she did all of that work by hand.
Tell them about the ones out from that circle.
These are gathered.
They're gathered and
3D kind of.
stuff.
Right.
They're not stuffed, I don't think.
No, they're not stuffed.
They're gathered and they're putty.
Right. They're gathered. Right. All of this had to accommodate the fact that she was not appliquing, she was actually quilting and hand piecing this together. So all of this is hand pieced. And so that was the result. It makes a really neat kind of three-dimensional texture to it. So this is certainly one of her quilts, and one of the things that she loves to do is to be able to take something and figure out how she can do it. So she sent these two quilts. The quilt that is hanging, or that will be hanging in the museum, is what she calls the Fish Quilt, and it was my dad's quilt. She finished it before he passed away. He loved it. And as someone else said, he was not quite as vocal about the quilts, but you could always tell the ones he liked, because he would actually say something. Otherwise, he might grunt, you know. But she was really, really excited and pleased to be able to know that that particular quilt will be hanging, and that she got this recognition. So I thank you ladies very much.